I am Elba Sojo Cervantes, and today I will be talking to you about the CBEST accounting scandal. CBEST was founded by a man named Barry Minko. He was born in 1966 in Inglewood, California, and was raised in Reseda, a middle-class neighborhood located in Los Angeles. It was there that he founded CBEST in 1982 in his parents' garage when he was only 16 years old. CBEST was a carpet cleaning company which went public in 1986. He conducted business with only 3 employees and 4 phones when he founded the company. Because of how successful CBEST appeared on the outside, people referred to Minko as a boy wonder or a whiz kid for his entrepreneurial spirit. He was lionized in the press, indulged on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and given a hero's welcome on Wall Street. Unfortunately, people failed to see the truth behind Minko's business. After the founding of CBEST, Minko struggled to meet basic expenses. California law did not allow minors to sign binding contracts, which included checks, and as a result, 2 banks closed his business account. This shortage in operating capital led Minko to obtain capital for his company in any way he could. He arranged burglaries in order to collect the insurance money. He borrowed $2,000 from his grandmother and went as far as stealing her pearls. He even forged $13,000 worth of money orders from a local liquor store. In 1985, he was able to open a merchant's account at a local bank, which allowed him to accept credit card payments. This allowed him to add bogus charges to his customers' credit card accounts and receive ready cash from the bank. If customers were to complain, Minko blamed the forgeries on crooked employees, paid those customers back, and carried on with his scheme that affected many individuals. Minko later admitted that nearly 90% of CBEST was a fraud. It started with spraying water instead of Scotch-Guard, a fabric and upholstery protector, on the carpets, and with $200 theft of a money order from a liquor store when he couldn't afford payroll at age 16. He created a sort of Ponzi scheme to raise even more capital. He helped set up a fake company called Interstate Appraisal Services that verified CBEST's business dealings, and he appointed his friend Thomas Paget as owner and operator. This scheme consisted of Minko convincing bankers and investors that he had won large contracts from insurance companies to restore large commercial buildings damaged by fire and water. Minko said he had millions and millions of dollars of these restoration contracts. He would take these to the bank and use these contracts for work to be performed as collateral to obtain loans. The jobs, however, were all fictitious. Paget confirmed the jobs, while a CBEST vice president forged all the documents and contracts. This gave investors the impression that Minko's carpet cleaning business was profitable. After some time, Minko decided to make his company public, but first he would have to go through the pain points of paperwork, audits, and meeting SEC requirements. An auditor for Ernst & Whinney insisted on seeing a CBEST restoration job before issuing CBEST an opinion. Minko had been able to avoid requests such as this one by claiming that the sites were confidential. However, he was eager to make his company public and knew that showing the auditor a restoration job was a critical step. Minko ordered Paget to rent a building and fix it up to make it seem like it had been a CBEST work site. They must have done a convincing job since the auditor gave CBEST a clean bill of health. In addition to convincing the auditor that the restoration contracts and sites were legitimate, CBEST's financial statements also looked appropriate. In order to create an initial public offering of stock, the SEC requires a firm to compile a legal document that provides details about an investment offering for sale to the public. Ernst & Whinney audited CBEST's financial statements and relied on false appraisal documents to perform its audit work, as they believed the paperwork had originated from an independent third party. In December 1986, CBEST made its debut on Wall Street. The stock increased significantly in just a couple of months. By March, shares of CBEST were worth $64 million, and by April, the worth had increased to $110 million. Eventually, Seabest's scams were exposed. Daniel Axt, a former reporter for the Los Angeles Times and the Wall Street Journal, had praised Minko in an article he had written in 1985. To his dismay, he came to find out that it was all a scam in 1987. He published an article on May 22, 1987, with the headline reading, "Behind WizKid is a trail of false credit card billings," which described in detail how Minko manipulated his customers' credit card payments for his own greedy benefit. By the next day, Seabest's stock lost 28% of its value. After the company collapsed, but before his arrest, Minko's mother suggested he see her Christian spiritual counselor. She had recently converted from Judaism to Christianity, which Minko would later do. When asked, Minko said that when people would ask him if he was worried about going to jail, he would reply by saying, "The Lord is my defense and my deliverance, and I'll take it as it goes, one day at a time." He developed a spiritual life which he hoped would come in handy if he was ever indicted. In the end, he was indicted, and federal authorities charged Minko with 57 counts of fraud in 1988. Some of the charges included racketeering, securities fraud, money laundering, embezzlement, and bank fraud. He was convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison and was ordered to pay $26 million in restitution. During his time in prison, he began to research and uncover other businesses that were being fraudulent in their business practices, and he would inform the federal government of this. He wrote books, gave lectures, and even hosted a fraud-busting radio show. It was because of the dollar amount of frauds he uncovered that his sentence was reduced to just over 7 years. The SEC also banned him from ever serving as an officer or director of a public company ever again. While he was in prison, Minko's faith grew stronger. He took correspondence courses in divinity from Liberty University. He even gave seminars and produced videos designed to help accountants and police detect white-collar fraud. Minko was released in 1995 and obtained his master's in divinity, got married, and then landed the head pastorship of the San Diego Community Bible Church in 1997. In 1999, his first wife left him. He was in debt and claims he was never too good at handling money. In 2001, he founded the Fraud Discovery Institute, which was a for-profit company. He continued to give free seminars to law enforcement and continued to multiply his good deeds. This led to his sentencing judge to release Minko from probation in 2002. Between 2002 and 2008, Minko abused his power and charisma to get money from members of the church and engaged in other activity with companies similar to the one that occurred in 2008. In 2008, he targeted Lennar Homes, but the federal government says he wasn't exposing fraud, but rather he was committing it. According to court filings, Minko spread false information about Lennar while at the same time profiting from short sales of the company's stock. He agreed to plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud to avoid what could have been a 30-year federal prison sentence. He was sentenced in 2011 to 5 years and had to pay Lennar more than $500 million in restitution. 2014, Minko pleaded guilty to 1 count each of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, and to defraud the federal government. He admitted to embezzling over $3 million in donations to the Community Bible Church from 2001 through 2011. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, which are to be served after he completes his sentence for securities fraud.